Right. Good morning. We are doing using light on 129. We're just going to kind of skim through it. If you would like to go ahead and print your homework questions, well, if you can pull up your homeworks and watch this some way, that would be ideal. We're going to answer our questions as we go so that they would have them to study for their tests on Thursday. Even though it's only Monday, we want to give them a chance to review. Mostly we've been talking about our new grading system for fourth quarter, which is going to be based on attitude. So all of a sudden I have angels. You know how quiet it is here? Notice how it normally is? Yeah. So, you know, I've been told I'm a wonderful teacher, a great human being. It's amazing what you can get when you threaten people. So it's that's not true, by the way. I didn't threaten them, and we're not going to grade you that way. Okay. But anyhow, we are going to kind of jump over this kind of quickly because we have seen this in astronomy. It talks about telescopes and lenses and things like that, which is part of what we're talking about, but we have seen it before. So we're going to kind of get through this fairly quickly. Okay? But we will talk about, again, as we go through it, you're going to see the homework. Okay? All right. It starts off, again, it talks about if you've ever seen photos of the moon, of Jupiter, even though it could be exciting to fly closer to the rings of Saturn, you know that traveling in space has been done for only a few decades, but you might be surprised to know that the moon and Jupiter and the rings of Saturn had not been seen before the year 1600. And we talked about all this in astronomy, if you remember, okay? And then the reason we were able to see those is because of the optical instruments, okay? And of course the telescope helps you to see objects that are far away. And then you have microscopes that help you to see objects that are invisible, basically, to the human eye, but we can still see them. When you guys get to go on the field trip this year, next year, whenever you get to go, unless they change it up next year, being able to look through a microscope is one of the things you get to do. Everyone will have their own microscopes in a classroom setting, but they go out and they will just get a bucket of water out of the marsh, and they bring it in, and you will take just a little dab of it and put it on a slide and put it up under your microscope, and you will see all the microscopic creatures that lives in that water. Okay, so it's really pretty. It's really very interesting. Yes?
It's really cool, just like you.
You got an A+ going, Caleb. I'm just telling you right now. You got the A+. All right. Margin's down to about a 20. Okay. Telescopes. Okay, a telescope forms enlarged images of distant objects. Telescope uses lenses or mirrors to collect and focus light from the distant objects. Remember, they were refracted and reflected telescopes. Okay, there's two main types. Okay, the refracting and the reflecting. A refracting telescope consists of two curved convex lenses. Okay. So a refracting telescope consists of two convex lenses, one at each end of a tube. Okay? The larger lens is called the objective. The objective gathers the light coming from an object and focuses the ray to form a real image. The lens closest to your eye is called the eyepiece. And the eyepiece, of course, magnifies the image so that you can see it clearly. The image seen through the refracting telescope is upside down, okay? But we know that, okay? We've talked about all that before. So a refracting telescope uses a large reflecting telescope uses a large concave mirror to gather light, okay? So the mirror collects light from distant objects and focuses the ray to form a real image. Okay? Then you have the microscope. And a microscope is to look at small nearby objects. A microscope is an optical instrument that forms enlarged images of tiny objects. A microscope uses a combination of lenses to produce and magnify an image. Okay? I believe Ms. West introduces you to microscopes, and then when you hit ninth grade, because Ms. West introduces you to, by the time you hit ninth grade, you're going to have a basic understanding of how to use it. Because in ninth grade in biology, you will find yourself using them quite often. Okay? Okay? So next year when you're eighth grade, it might be eighth grade, that you do microscopes. As you're doing that, pay attention because that's going to be a skill that you will use again in high school. Okay? So pay attention to that one. Plus it's just fun. It's fun to mess with those things.
Do we use one on the beef strip?
You will use one on the beach strip.
I
You will.
thought so, 'cause I like this.
You will. Okay? So a microscope uses a combination of lenses to produce and magnify images. Okay? A camera uses one or more lenses to focus light into film to record an image. Of course, most are now digital, but they still use will adjust lenses. How many of your parents has like 35 millimeter digital cameras? Or do most of them still just use their phone? A lot of people just use their phone or their iPad or something like that now. Because they take great pictures too. If you're really into photography, you're going to have probably a 35 millimeter camera with various lenses and things. But we talked about that. How all these lenses, you've got different focal points even on the lenses. One lens might have 3 different focal points that you bring it in, especially the ones that will go anywhere from 50 yards to 250 yards or something like that. And they'll bring things in really close. You can take a picture from 300 yards away and make it look like it's right there. That's pretty cool that we can do that.
Wait, Mr. Simon.
Yes.
You know how you were saying like future stalker or whatever? I also want a telescope that can see for up to like super far, just so I can like lay down and look at because sometimes in the woods by their house lots like mirrors, but not really.
You got to watch out for spheres. If you
Yeah,
see
like,
if
I'll
you see
just-
anywhere near your house with a telescope.
Well, I just see sitting in the corner, just like, oh my God.
All right. So,
Yeah, I do that.
but the lens of a camera focuses light to form a real upside down image on the film in the back of the camera. Okay, so it actually, the camera, again, you're seeing it upside down. The lens finder, we didn't put it up this year because, of course, y'all could not go up and touch it, put your eyes on it and all that this year. The telescope that I had. But the finder, when you look through it showed everything upside down. Okay, you could find it because it helps you to locate. Because if you just look through the eyepiece of the telescope, it's hard to find what you look for. So this little thing was a finder that you could turn the telescope and look through it. But it showed, if you were looking at trees or something, it showed the trees and all upside down. So it was kind of weird to look through. I'm sorry you missed out on that, but just due to COVID, we couldn't all be putting our hands on it and putting our eyeballs on it and all that stuff. So
Well, what we could do, we could put, wrap the entire thing in
yeah, I wasn't going to wrap my entire thing in saran wrap or a big plastic bag or something
or
like that.
wipe it down after everyone.
Yeah, that wasn't going to
That would
happen
take
either.
too long.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen either. So the thing was, I just took it home and now it's sitting on my deck. Okay. All right, lasers. When you turn on a flashlight, the light spreads out as it travels. Ordinary light is made up of different colors and wavelengths. Laser light is different from ordinary light. A laser light consists of light waves that all have the same wavelength of color. Okay? So the waves are coherent or in step with each other. Okay? So what is a laser? A laser is a device that produces a narrow beam of coherent light. The word laser comes from the phrase and describes how it works. Light amplification by simulation emission of radiation. So that's the million-dollar question. So now if anybody asks you what laser means, boom, you know. You got it down pat, right? Million-dollar question right there. You ever go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and they go, quick, and you can go, I would like to use my help and call my science teacher. And my phone would ring and they're going to go, what does laser stand for? And I'm going to go, they should know that. I taught it in 6th grade. And I'm going to hang up. And then you're going to have to guess. Okay, so.
No, if I got called to do that.
Because it depends on how old I am at the time. I might not remember what a laser is.
If I got called to do that, I would just be like, I'll only tell you if you give me $500,000.
Yeah. All right. So, producing a laser light, a helium neon laser is shown down here in the picture. Okay. A laser tube contains a mixture of helium and neon gases. I can't get it out. An electrical current causes this gas mixture to emit photons. And of course, photon is a packet of light energy. So the mirrors at both ends of the tube reflects the photons back and forth. As the photons travel back and forth, it may bump into a neon particle. And this causes the neon particle to emit a photon with the same energy as the one that caused the collision. Well, that's a rigmarole on how you get light to come out of a little tube, isn't it? Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. But the important thing is, you don't really, unless you grow up and work in a let's build laser factories, you probably don't need to know all that.
Wait, I would get like a laser time that's
These are
so
laser
big I'd
points that
have
we
to
talk.
carry it like this.
Uh-huh.
And I'd be like, okay, class, this is what we're doing today.
You see down here on page 133, this is the, it's referred to in the industry as a gun. Okay, it's obviously not a gun, but it's surveyors use that, and it shoots a laser beam out, and you have the other guy standing with the pole, and the pole has a reflector. And this thing, you have to aim it and you hit that, and it bounces back and it measures the distance. And that's how you survey land. Okay, you can survey 300-acre farms or acre plot of land to sell the house or whatever, but that's how you do it. Okay, it's all done the same way. Yes?
You know, like in like the movies and cartoons where the cat chases like the laser, do cats really do that?
Yeah, they will. They
My
will.
dog's sniffing the laser. My cat does that.
All right. Lasers have many practical uses. Many stores uses lasers to scan barcodes. So when you go to the grocery store with your mom and the cashier rings that thing across there and it beep, beep, it's actually being read by that barcode is being read by a laser. And then it puts the price up on the screen. Okay? Engineers uses lasers to make sure that surfaces are level, bridges and tunnels are properly aligned. Of course, you can use it to cut through metal. In addition to their use in stores, industries, and engineers, lasers are used to read information on compact discs. They can create holograms and perform surgery. On a compact disc, lasers can be used to store and read information.
Laser eye surgery.
Compact disc is produced by converting data into electrical signals. Okay. It used to be you had to have the needle that read the grooves. Now this thing goes across and reads it. So it, you don't have to worry about scratching it up. A hologram, okay, If you check out your local video store, which don't even exist anymore, I don't think, or a newsstand, some videos and magazines have pictures that appears to move as you walk by. These pictures are called holograms. A hologram is a three-dimensional photograph created by using the light from a laser. The process of making these photographs is called holographic. Okay? Laser surgery. A beam of light can be powerful enough to replace a sharp knife. For example, doctors may use lasers instead of scalpels to cut into a person's body. As the lasers cut, though, the beauty of it, it helps to seal the blood vessel, so the amount of blood that the patient loses is not as great. Okay? And a laser cut heals faster than using a scalpel. Yes, Caleb?
Isn't it because like when you use a powerful laser, it's hot?
Yes.
And it kind of like burns the
Yeah, it-
blood
yeah.
vessels?
Yeah, that's it.
Isn't that
Cauter-
called cauterizing?
It's cauterizing the wound. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. Yeah. Okay? A common use for laser surgery, of course, is correct vision by reshaping the cornea of the eye. They can also use lasers to repair the if you have a detached retina. Okay, sometimes it will actually pull away, and they can actually use that. And the book refers to it as weld it back into place almost. And without that, you would either be partially blind or blind in that eye if your retina actually got torn away. So it's quite amazing. And these are old books, so it's improved tremendously over the last 15, 16 years since these books came out. Okay? So yeah, it's amazing what we can do now. I mean, things that when I was your age, you never thought about. And now it's just common practice. Pretty cool.
Lasers.
Okay. Lasers can also be used to destroy or remove skin blemishes, cancerous growths. Okay. Optical fibers. Optical fibers are a long, thin strands of glass or plastic that can carry light for long distances without allowing the light to escape. Okay? Optical fibers can carry laser beams for long distances because the beam stays totally inside of the fiber as it travels. Okay? They now use optic fibers for internet and TV and things like that. They have figured out that you can also use it to send just singles. Okay? So it's really, again, the improvement in technology in just the last few years is really quite amazing.
There's someone at the door.
Good.
Oh, that's good.
Of course, there
Not
are.
the one behind the TV.
Do what?
Not the one behind the TV. Thank
Okay.
you very much. Where else?
There was
The
one.
far fires
Yeah,
over there, like
Upstairs?
on the
Yeah.
other side of the door, yeah. And then
yeah. There was one in there.
And there was one on the bottom floor.
What happened to
If you go down the steps, it's the
junior
first.
spine
the
room that Mr. Feeney hides? That's okay.
Yeah, what are they looking for?
All right. It's a game that Mr. Feeney does there every year. Okay.
I see, like, I've
Do they
seen
ask
some
you every
hanging
year
off
about
of
stuff?
windows.
They ask me every year where they're at. Every year. And I know where some of them are, but I don't know where all of them are. All right, now then. Anyway, in medicine, optical fibers are commonly used in medical instruments. Doctors can insert a thin optical fiber inside various parts of the body, such as the heart or the stomach. The optical fiber can be attached to a microscope or a camera in this way, and doctors can actually examine your internal organs without having to perform major surgery. It used to, if they had to do what they called exploratory surgery, where they had to open you up to see if they could find problems. Now they can actually run a small camera in there and just look all around to see if they see something. It's really, I mean, it's a lot better to be able to do that. Okay.
Technology.
You don't feel like
Yeah.
Like a ginormous.
I'm not a big technology guy, as you are well aware of, but there is something as you get older you're very grateful for. All right, guys, that was a pretty simple one. Still went about 20 minutes, so enjoy, and we'll be in touch. Bye.